Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our How To Corner. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the benefits of stretching. My name is Will Gray. I'm your friendly neighborhood physical therapist. And before we get started, please like, share, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think about the information that we're sharing. And anything you want us to talk about, please put it in the comments. We'll be happy to talk about and discuss it with you. And with that being said, let's get going with today's talk. Today's talk, we have a few learning points we're going to cover. One, effects of stretching. Two, physical changes with age, what happens with your body, and how stretching can help alleviate some of that. And then three, how to stretch properly. What are the proper ways to stretch? First, let's talk about the immediate effects, right? So we have some improved flexibility, enhanced mobility. With that improved flexibility, what you're trying to do is basically counteract your natural stiffness that comes with as you get older or as you stop doing activities. This helps to keep the joints a lot looser, reducing the risk of falls, and also helping with your actual daily tasks by preventing some injuries. Sometimes we have issues with injuries because when we're not as mobile. We don't stretch as much. When we start to try to move around, we're so tight that we have falls, stumbles, spasm, things like that that happen when we're doing certain exercises or trying to do certain activities. I'm sorry. But enhanced mobility is also another thing that it helps with. Improves your coordination posture, supports easier movement. If you're looser, you just have more mobility to access. As a result of having that mobility, it just helps you to be even more active, even more confident in your movement, as well as help with managing a lot of other things that you tend to encounter when you are tight and you don't stretch. Now, to continue on top of that, it supports easier movement, like I talked about in the previous slide, with relieving the tension of the tight muscles. That better circulation helps with that blood flow within, which in turn helps with healing, but also helps with muscle recruitment, make the muscles contract better and have the full access to the length of the muscle, and as well as being able to support your physical activities. It prepares the body for different things you want to do, not just exercise, but exercise is one of those things, but it prepares your body to be able to take on what's coming, in that day. Now, let's talk about physical change with age. Muscles and joints naturally lose elasticity as well as the range of motion as you age, making stretching even more important. What happens though, from a scientific standpoint or below surface, is that your body starts to lose water or the amount of water that is actually available in your body, which is why drinking water as you get older is such a big thing people keep harping on. But having that increased water intake or that increased hydration helps with some of that loss of elasticity and that joint range of motion that you have decrease over time. Now, with that, you have some injury prevention that's very, very important that comes with having that elasticity and maintaining that joint integrity by keeping those muscles and those joints flexible. Okay, help prevent strains and sprains of ligaments, but strains of muscles, as well as other injuries, like I said, spasms, as well as little injuries you never would encounter if you were stretching normally. Now, one of my favorite pieces to talk about when I have, things like this or I'm discussing stretching is the pain relief. For the most part, sometimes, you have pain in your back, especially your back or your hips, and it's due to tight muscles. It's not necessarily due to the hip joint. So when you stretch, sometimes you have an relieving feeling that happens from the stretch that helps with the pain. Tight muscles that are stretched feel a lot better after they stretch. It's almost like the hook so good feeling. But I also realize when you have a tight muscle, it's probably probably a weak muscle. So you need to strengthen that muscle as well as stretch it, which helps promote just a better quality of life all the way around. Now, the last part, how do you stretch? So before anyone stretches, I think you should warm up, move around, walk a little bit, get the body temperature up, right? Now, you have multiple types of stretches. I'm going to talk about two different categories of stretches: static stretches versus dynamic stretches. Depending on who you are, a static stretch will affect your performance within an exercise if you static stretch, but doesn't mean that it affects your performance, with physical activity. If you're having to work around the yard, your back gets really tight, your hips are usually tight. Stretching to start with is probably a good way to go. Now, if I'm an athlete trying to perform an actual activity or sport of some kind, I probably want to do more with a dynamic stretch, okay? Now, when you're trying to stretch dynamically, you're doing a more moving stretches, right? Knees to chest, foot sweeps, 10 mans, you're doing some A skips, you're doing different openers where you do, knee to chest, open your hip, step, doing some lunges with rotations, stuff like that. Now, if you're doing a static stretch, you want to hold it about 60 minutes to, 60 seconds to 90 seconds, not 60 minutes. Please do not do hour work stretching on one muscle. You will hate yourself. And then your breathing is super important. When you're trying to do these stretches, you need to breathe. It promotes circulation, but also promotes that relaxation that you're looking for. And you want to do it about 5 times a week if possible. Now, I don't think that 5 times a week should be that arbitrary number, just us trying to give you a number to be able to make you have a goal. But if you're doing the dynamic stretching, you want to just do it before activity. So if you work out 5 times a week, you may want to dynamically stretch before you start your workouts or your activities. Okay. Now, let's talk about what, right? The what. Why do you stretch? What groups are you trying to address? You want to address all your major groups, right? Your quads, your hamstring, your chest, your back, your shoulders. Stretching those major groups, even if you can't get the smaller muscles, you don't know how to stretch the smaller muscles, help. So focus on the major groups. Focus on that quad stretch, that hamstring stretch, that calf, that back stretch, that chest, that shoulder stretch. It's very simple stretches. By doing that will help you have a better quality of life. You won't hurt as much, you have more mobility, you probably sleep a lot better, wake up a lot less stiff. And that in itself will help you just have a better benefit from doing stretching and continuing with it, and also make you probably avoid a lot of doctor visits. I want to first say thank you to everybody who made it to this particular point in the talk. It's a very short talk today. Think stretching is something that we don't need to drill into the ground, but just kind of touch on some things because I think people, don't really listen to people when they talk about stretching because I'm stretching, but it's not helping. No, it's helping. It's just something that we need to reiterate. So if you like what we did today and want us to hear more of it, like, share, subscribe, also comment, contact us if you have any questions about some issues you may be having or some stretches that you want to know about. Maybe you have something that needs to be addressed and you can't get the proper stretch to get there. You can always contact us on our website. And we're on Facebook. We're also on Instagram as well as YouTube, which you're probably listening to us now. And with that being said, thank you so much. I hope you have a blessed one. I'll catch you in the next one.